Okay, today is the day I'm going to put the Weber together. What I've done is I've laid out all the pieces in a somewhat order that they go together, which makes it a lot quicker. And I've laid them out, put the screws by the items that they pretty much belong to, or clips, wheels, and like I said, I've put them in the order that the grill is going to somewhat go together on. Got everything laid out. Got the heater on. It's a little chilly this morning. Grill there. Doors in the back. Handles. Little plastic inserts and clips. Knobs. Flavor bars. Grease pan. Heat diffuser. And I've also taken the time at this point here to put the washers on all the nuts and screws, on the bolts and screws that it's going to go to. As you notice here, there's 3, 6, 9, 12 of the silver ones. All of them get a black washer except for 4 of them, which are going to be used to hold the side panels on. I'm sorry, the side wings on, and they don't have a washer. All 6 of the black ones have a silver washer. The leftover 4 gray washers are going to be going on to the item that is your tank level gauge. All we're going to need to build this guy is 7/16 wrench, 7/16 socket, and I've got a ratcheting screwdriver, which makes it easy. And the only reason I'm going to keep that piece of junk that they send you right there is because the bigger end fits those 2 black nipples there, which are actually used as a tank guide on the inside. I've looked through the instructions, and it seems to be there's about 27 steps. I've laid out a carpet here in the middle so I don't have to crawl all over the floor and possibly scratch some of the pieces when I'm putting it together. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 2 pins out here on the back of the cover. There's one. There's the other. We're going to pull those pins out, remove the lid so that doesn't get scratched in the construction, because you really won't need that till the end. And then we're going to get going here. And as I said before, there's 27 steps to putting together the Genesis EP-330. There's that page. Open it up. That page. And that page. That's all it consists of. We'll have that done in no time at all. Okay, and as I stated before, we're going to pull these 2 pins out of the lid back here because we want to take this lid off so it doesn't get scratched in the construction. So we're going to grab those, pull the lid straight up. I've laid a towel over here to the side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the lid on there. And that's where it'll be until we're ready to use it again. Is it off? Okay, what we're going to do first here, step 1 and 2, we're going to knock those out real quick. We're going to take both sides and the back support and the wheels. And the back support's held on with 2 of the black nuts, or I'm sorry, 2 of the black bolts with the silver washers. So we're going to grab the 2 sides here real quick, lay them out, lay it out. Back support, and then there's one of those black bolts that go through this that get bolted to the 2 sides, and that's the back. Okay, as we're wrapping up step 1 here, when you put the support beam on there, there's actually on the upper tab that sticks out of each side with the door pins. Those are going to hold the front doors facing up. There's 3 holes in that. I use the hole that is closest to the frame, and 1 black bolt in each one. Then out of the 4 wheels, you'll notice that there's 2 locking wheels and 2 non-locking wheels. The 2 locking wheels go in the front, right below the door pins. The 2 non-locking ones go in the bottom. Okay, we got the wheels on, we got the back support in. The next steps we're going to do is 3, 4, and 5, which consist of standing this up, putting the front support on, and we're going to be using the last 4 black bolts with the silver washers on them. That goes in this next step there, so we're going to stand it up. Grab the front support, which is going to slide on the back side of these 2 protrusions coming out of the frame. And it'll be 2 black bolts with the silver washers on each side. We're going to do that now. Okay, we're just finishing up step 5 here with tightening these up. You don't have to muscle any of this too much. Make sure they're snug and not loose and it's not jiggling and everything else. Next step we're going to do is step 6 and 7. We're going to move this back a little bit. And 6 and 7 consist of grabbing the 6 metal J bolts with the nut in them. We're going to grab all 6 of those. The bottom of the grill. And we're going to go put each one of these J bolts. You'll see like a little notch in the bottom here. Each one of these go on here with the nut on the inside of the wall, and the little thin part down there, and it slides in and simply clicks like that. So we'll be putting all 6 of these on and securing this to the grill with 4 of the silver bolts with the gray washers. Okay, all 6 clips have been put on. There's 2 on each side and 2 in the back. The front of this piece has 2 magnets on it, which is going to hold your door later on. This is the front of the grill here. So you want the magnets on the front, obviously. We'll take this, we'll slide this in the bottom here, and those 4 silver bolts with the gray washers. 2 will go on this side to hold this in place, and 2 will go on this side to hold it in place. And we're going to get that in real quick. Okay, as we finish up step 7 here, the base is in, it's secured. We'll stand it back up. The next step we're going to do is number 8, which is going to be putting in the grease pan collection support, which consists of those 2 little black plastic squares and 3 silver screws with plastic washers on them. The plastic clip, the support already has one in place, but the other 2 that came in the packaging get pushed right in the bottom here. And then we'll put this in place. We'll put the 2 bottom screws in first, because the upper one here has a little oval slot, so you have a little bit room for movement or slop if you need it. Okay, as we finish up step 8, which is putting in the pan, we got the last screw right there. That's in. And then we got the other 2 that were tightened up down there. Step 9, we've already done step 9. That's where we pulled the 2 pins out of the grill lid, picked up the grill lid, put it off to the side so it didn't get scratched. And step number 10 is going to be putting in the base of the grill into your frame. That's all set to go. Okay, now like I said, we're here at step 10, and that's where we're going to be putting in the base of the grill. You got to be careful not to kink these gas pipes coming out of the side, and so kind of watch it as you're picking them up and make. Okay, I've lowered the gas hose down here through there. I'm going to guide the side burner hose through this ledge because that's where it's going to go, and we're just going to set this thing right down in here where it goes. Make sure everything's hanging freely off the front, and it should sit in there pretty firm. Okay, it looks as if step 10 is done. The main hose is hanging right here, which goes to the propane tank. This one goes to the side burner. They're not kinked, and you got to be careful not to kink them. The next step is going to be number 11, and that's where we put the two support bolts into the side of the grill pan. And one's going to go on this side, one's going to go on this side. And what they look like is that they actually look like these here, these guys here. I don't know if you can see that. These two nuts go on the inside, and I'll show you where those will be sitting in the grill. And then we got the long bolts with the silver washer on each one. Okay, those two bolts that I just showed you, this guy here, it's going to go in the side right here, this way. It's going to go through the pan. And then the nut that I got right here, if you look in here, there's a groove. It's kind of shaped like a hex nut, one on each side. This nut is going to need to sit in there. Yep. It's going to need to sit in there flush, and the bolt will go through it. Okay, as I finish tightening up both of these bolts over here, you can tighten them all the way, as tight as they will go, and that's what the screw should look like there on each one. You notice how it sits in the grooves? And like I said, those bolts are screwed in as far as they will go, and so you don't have to worry about trying to center this on your own. Okay, it appears that step 12 is going to be securing the gas line to the side of the grill, and the one you're going to be securing is the hose that will actually end up going to the propane. So here's the one for the side burner, and just because of the length of the pipe here, I've put it on top of the ledge, and I think by the time you come around here and there's two holes up high that this piece is going to secure to, and I kind of believe that just so it doesn't kink, that hose is going to end up being like that, and we'll find out a little bit later on. And like I said, I'm using these two holes right here, and you're going to be using the two silver screws, the smaller ones, with the black washer on them. And also I found that you're going to need a 5/16 to actually tighten these little fellas down. Okay, as we finish up step 12 here of securing the gas pipe support, both of those are tightened down. We're making sure that the gas pipe is really not going to be rubbing on anything, no chances of a kink or getting smashed in there. And then the next step after this is going to be installing the tank scale and the glides. Okay, that's the tank scale, which is going to be using 4 silver screws with the last 4 gray washers on them. And then these two guys here are going to be the tank glide to help it slide up and down as it starts running out of gas. And this here is the only reason we kept this one is because it fits, because it fits this guy right there. That's the only reason I've kept this around. So let's get these installed, and that's going to be going, the tank scale goes in those two right there, and then the glides go on these two near the bottom. So we're going to get those installed right now. Okay, we just got the scale installed here on the side with the two silver bolts, or silver screws with the gray washers. The wing nut goes up top because that's what allows you to loosen this up to release and put the handle lock on there. We're just going to finish up tightening this last one right here of the glides. That's in there, and that's the only thing that I use their handy dandy wrench for, and now we can get rid of that thing. Okay, we got that mounted. Next step is 14, and that's where we put the back onto the grill, back cover. So we're going to come over here and get it, and that's where you're going to use your last 4 silver bolts with the gray washers. And it does matter which way this goes on. If you see, there's 2 slots near the far corners, and these other 2 slots are in a little bit. The ones in the closest to the edge go up top because they're going to go into these tabs right here. And the two closer ones should line up right here with these guys here. So you can actually just kind of set this right on there and then go and get your bolts and put them on there. Okay, as we finish up step 14, which is tightening up the back on here. We're done with that. Step 15 is going to be installing the chrome front panel right here. And that's step 15. Okay, the next step, which is going to be 15 of putting on the front chrome. It looks like it's going to be pretty easy. There's two little squares right here, one right there and one right there. And those little squares are going to drop right inside that little slot there and support it. There's one on each side. And then